All right, so here we go. I was doing my leg warm up stuff, and the way that I do this is and this is going to be different for everyone, but I do not have great mobility. So I start off just going down to the bench. I guess this is a version of box squats in the classic box squat style. But then I will add on weights, and then I will put a plate on the ground after this first set of with weight at 135. And I use a safety squat bar for a main mover. I will use back squats. I will use front squats. But what I do through my warm up here is just eventually decrease the level of what I'm trying to reach with my rear end so that I will be able to slowly warm up, I guess is the best way of putting it. And so that's what I'm doing right here. You'll see that I add 10 pounds to the bar, but there's now 10-pound plates on the ground in a moment. I'll go and set this up. So now the distance between myself and the bench is greater. So I have to go a little bit deeper. When I used to work out at a gym that had pins on a power rack, I would lower the pins every set, adding weights. And I think it's a great way to prime your system for handling bigger weights as well as working on your mobility slowly for guys like me that do not have great mobility. I've never had great mobility. I was one of those dudes who, when they taught you the what is it, French fries and pizza when skiing, that internal rotation would make my hips cramp like crazy. I actually have about zero internal rotation. Now you can see that I've got a 25 on the side and I've got two tens on the ground, which is again going to increase the distance. But while I was doing this time, I felt a little something in my right knee and nothing major, but just a little bit of a twinge. And so sometimes I think we've all noticed you can work out through this. You'll be able to figure out, like, okay, like this is just a little sore during the warm up. And if it goes away, it goes away. If it doesn't, then, that's where you have the ability to figure out if you want to keep on going. So, what I was doing in this is just trying to figure out what exactly I was working towards, and it worked out pretty well when all was said and done. I don't think there was much of an issue with this workout other than the fact that I cut it short because I just didn't like how my knee was feeling. But as I've said before, you don't win the battle to fitness in one workout. And so if things aren't feeling great, shut her down. This isn't going to be the difference between you having an incredible squat and not having an incredible squat. Because if you're injured, you can't work out. And that's what I'm going for. So you can see now the distance is greater as I'm trying to get down to. I believe I'm standing on I don't know, 25 and a 10 now. And I found that when I stand on about a 25 and a 35 and a 10, that gets me down to about parallel. And it just depends on what day. Listen, I'm not a believer of Joel Seedman. I'm not going to say that his way is the way to do it. But I do think that some is better than none. And so if you have a day where things aren't feeling great, then you have to adjust and figure things out. And, for me, I'm keeping on going up in weight. And on this time, I took a little bit of the depth off. I said, well, maybe, things are not feeling great for me right now. Maybe I can, try and get the most out of this at a different weight. I'm still just not really liking how everything's feeling, but I'm willing to try it out because it's not a weight that's going to stress me too bad. And in a couple days later, I have no knee pain as a result out of this. And it's not really an issue for me. So I think I did the right thing. And I still got some decent leg work in. And, after this, you'll see I switched to the next exercise because I just didn't like how my knee was feeling. But I got something out of this workout. My muscles of my leg were exercised. That's the important thing. Even going to less than stellar mobility, you're still getting something out of this. It doesn't have to be a maximum workout for everything to really get the most out of everything. And, you can see here I'm a little frustrated. I'm going to look at my form, didn't like it. So now I'm going to do some goblet squats. And I set this up to where I've got a box. It's about 12 inches off the ground, and I'm just going to use that as a target. That'll get me a little bit below parallel. I took a look at my form on the phone there because I can see myself in the cam, but I'm just feeling it out, just seeing how things feel. This was okay, but I didn't love it, but I was still willing to give it a try. I think I did 20 here. And if anything, gets my heart rate going. It's good for a little cardio. But yeah, again, I don't have great mobility. I do have as you can see in the background there between the GHD and my rack, there's a little slant board. It's a more shallow one than a different one that I have. I have two different height settings. So I'll bring that out in a second because I just wasn't really liking how anything was feeling. I've got it set up here, going up in weight, giving myself a little bit more. You can tell just going down, feeling it out, seeing how it figures out, and you go from there. I think this is the easiest way to go about things. You just try and see how you're feeling on any given day. And again, I still feel like I got a little bit of something out of this. I worked out. And again, if I had pushed it and end up injuring my knee, I wouldn't be able to do anything more. And so again, sometimes you just have to figure out when to take it easy, when to be, balls to the wall. And if you do that, you'll work out in the end. Yeah, I would have liked to have done heavier stuff. That's not what was presented to me, but I still worked out, decently hard in this workout. I shut it down after this set because I just felt my knee again. And I was like, okay, well, whatever it is, it's barking at me. And the next time I do legs, it's going to be with a longer warm up because this was something that I hadn't specifically felt before. And that's where you go. By the way, these uh, front rack kettlebell squats. Each one's 53 pounds. It's not that heavy in weight, but it challenges your breathing. It really pushes your knees forward and gets a great quad emphasis. I'm a huge fan. I think it also works your upper back. So yeah, I did 10 there, and then I was going to try and do some without any slant board or any target and just see how that felt. And I didn't like how it felt. So, after a rep here, I just kind of said, you know what? Don't risk it. I tried to do things at a different weight. I tried to figure things out. And on this day, it was just a no. And you can tell me I'm doing the no. The classic, you do the weight that's too hard and you feel your shoulder in the gym. So I said, okay, I'll try something else. Maybe sandbag squats. This is my 100-pound sandbag, not exceedingly heavy. But I could just feel that it was not going to be one of those days where I was going to have a great feeling in that knee. And I didn't do anything to overly stress myself. I wasn't feeling pain. I was just feeling joint awareness that I didn't like. And so that is the way to go for it. I'm putting on my pain face because I was um, clearly not happy with my grip. But, after this, and I forgot to record it, I did some stiff legged deadlifts. And I said, you know what? That's it. Cut it. No need to kill yourself. No need to risk anything. And then I was fine to go the next time. So yeah, that's be all takeaway here. Figure it out. Go from there. All right, guys. See you next time.